And that was mainly the message was for those veterans who are not seeing success, right? They're just sitting in their room and they're sending out resumes all day long and like nobody's hiring me. Why not? Boo hoo, boo hoo. It's like, hey, you got to get out there. You got to show your value. You got to get into it. You don't, they're not going to bring a job to you and place it on your table. You have to go out and earn it, everything we've just talked about, to show that you're bringing value to that organization.
I do want to bring up two things that are applicable for this, as it sounds like there's some folks that you're aware of that are in that boat. First off, my operations manager, his name is Matt, and he runs our entire brand new Jacksonville facility now. But when he came in, he was actually our second place pick because he didn't have the kind of experience we were looking for the first pick, who was the one from the Marines. We needed to stand up from the ground up a production and warehousing operation, and nobody in the company had ever done that before. So we went with the one who had a lot of that specific experience after the military already. Okay, but there was a lot of advantages that Matt had from his Navy experience, and we talked about them in the hiring process. Now, my fear and others' fear was we can't afford to screw this up because we were bleeding a lot of customer service issues, and we're like, we need to make sure that this one's right, so we're going to go for the one who could get us that enterprise off the ground successfully. Thankfully, Matt was, I love your organization, I love what you guys stand for, I would really like to be considered for any other opportunities you guys have. That said something to me. And we actually had a mediocre temp performing at that time. And within a few days, we're like, she's voted off the island, and we're going to give him a shot if he wants it. Because if he can do what the other vets are starting to do, right, and as we continue to grow, we are going to give him opportunities. And he's been promoted a few times since he's been in our organization. And I'm proud to say now that that facility runs to the level that I dreamed it could be when we were building it from the ground up. And a lot of those things that got us to this point, a lot of the processes, the cool tricks on technology, the organization, are the things that he brought to the table. So I almost feel like maybe I made the wrong choice, but it has panned out where he came up through the ranks learning a bunch of other tools and systems that armed him to inherit this warehouse and take it to the next level. So maybe a little bit of divine intervention, but don't be afraid of looking for some junior roles, because in a matter of a half a year, it could translate into a promotion opportunity for you. Okay?
Yeah, I was going to push that right there. So the expectation of somebody coming out of service, one, your pay is not going to match. So you have to be willing to take that entry level position or a lower position and earn your way back up to where you are in the military. Is that a fair statement?
It was for Matt. It wasn't for Bill. Okay. But, it's a small organization. We weren't going to hire two of the position that I was looking for. We got lucky that we had two really good candidates. Matt just didn't have the same kind of experience that the retired Marine had. But he had a lot of other good things that I was right on. They have paid off in spades, and he was willing to join the organization at a lower level and learn a lot of things. And we talked about it. I'm like, Matt, when we get up and running, you're going to have all this experience that your counterpart doesn't have, and it's going to be necessary for us to bring into the new facility. And it's almost like we just predicted here's what was going to happen, and he's really taken it to a next level. It is not uncommon for me, him, and others to hear from vendors or customers that come by, wow, this is the cleanest warehouse we have ever seen. And they've even joked around like, hey, have you guys thought about offering this as a service to, other businesses? I mean, it's a high level compliment, and I don't think that's really in the scope of our business, but it's significant props to Matt, who has built that empire to that extent to where others really admire the way it's running. And now we're on the tip of the spear and testing different functionalities of the softwares that we're using and being like a new adopter on new things that they're trying to test out before they deploy it across the other customer base. So we're having a lot of fun with playing in the sandbox on doing things like that as well. You know, a lot of compliments come to him for that. So that's the first thing. Don't be afraid to take a lesser role. The second thing is, you know, you had mentioned they're just firing out resumes. That's a numbers game. That's one way of playing it. I've done that before too. You know, I'm gonna get my resume. I'm gonna send it out to 100 different places and see who bites. Over time, though, I've adapted my techniques to make the resume somehow personalized to the opportunity. So you're always going to have your success stories, and maybe you've got like a collection that you only fit some of on the resume. If you know that you're going after a specific company or a specific role, it is worth the time to say, you know, these 2 or 3, I'm going to take them out. I'm going to put in some other ones that I think are applicable. Or when you're writing your objective statement at the top of the resume, what are you trying to do? Design it to be what they're looking for.
Right.
Like literally phrase out what they're looking for in the job description and how your specific experiences from the military are directly connected to those. Take the time to tweak the resume, because in my now experience, it is way better to send out 10 resumes that are just like, this is the best resume I can send out to these specific places, and it is fine-tuned, than to just do the shotgun approach and blast out 100 different ones out there. That's my recommendation.
Difference between a shotgun or a rifle, right? Targeted, focused versus kind of everywhere.